What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 32 of the Coffee Club Pod. No longer in our kitchen anymore, boys. We've made it. We're here at Penn Relays at Franklin Field. It's honestly kind of surreal for us to take it in. I think, we definitely didn't expect to have this set up and be doing this show in this environment. So it's very cool, very exciting. And obviously, to start off, a big shout out to Penn Relays and to On for bringing us out here and giving us this whole experience. Highly recommend that you watch this episode on YouTube rather than just listening to the audio, because it is absolute madness out here. We're going to do the best that we can to stay on topic, stay engaged. But the amount of stimulus that is going on around me is, I don't know if I had ADHD before this, but I definitely do right now, because there's just so much happening. We're here, it's Thursday of the Penn Relays, which is the first day, which means that I think right now we're experiencing 27 heats of the women's 4x4.
27 heats.
I think it's just the high school girls 4x4, in fact,
Yep.
and it's just crazy. So the kids are in the stadium just cheering. I think we had the Masters 4x1 before, and it was madness.
DQ.
Yeah,
There's a DQ in the Masters.
there was a
race.
DQ.
A pulled hamstring, at least one
pulled hamstring.
Probably multiple.
The crowd was so invested. It was amazing. When it was actually hilarious when someone got DQ'd, one of the teams, the whole stands were just booing.
The crowd really gets involved here, and it's just like you can feed off that energy so well.
So it is a crazy experience, but haven't even mentioned our guest today. We have too much happening. We have Olin Hacker. Olin, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, thank you. How do we even introduce Olin?
Okay, so we got Olin Hacker here. If people have been living under a rock, they probably we have to describe Olin a little bit. He is a Wisconsin Badger. He was our teammate.
What year are you in?
10th year? 12th year?
So I'm a senior.
You're a senior. That's what you're telling people?
I've had 4 senior years though.
Yeah.
4 senior years. So that's a lot of senior years there.
Taking super senior very seriously.
I think this year with COVID, there's a lot of 6th years, but I'm one of the few 7th years.
7th year.
Can we just get this out of the way? Is that hashtag good for the sport?
I mean,
7th year senior.
If I'm following Olin, I think it's hashtag good for the sport.
Yeah.
I love
for
seeing
my
Olin.
sport, at least.
Yeah,
It's
I love
really
seeing you
good.
go through it, and Morgan and I were teammates, and with Olin, and it's pretty exciting to see him still in college,
Yeah.
still racing away.
How many degrees do you have?
I've got an undergrad, and then I'm finishing a graduate degree. So really not as many as I probably should. Like, I'm just having my master's, not my PhD. I should have my PhD, but
Oh well,
fine.
you got the 8th year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, for those scoring at home, I was a freshman when we were recruiting Ollie, so I am a grade ahead of Ollie.
Yeah.
It's so
But
weird to think about.
Ollie is 1 month older than me.
1 month older
so-
than Olin, so that's how you work that out. Yeah.
Yeah, for context, Ollie and I are 2 years apart in school, and Olin
No, 1
Phil-
year.
fills the gap. Well, in
Yeah, you
school,
fill the gap.
in
Yeah,
school,
yeah.
2 years apart, and
Okay.
Olin slides in the middle right there. So we have all spent a lot of time together.
So I must be Olin's year.
Yeah.
Because I'm in that middle year too.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like I've been out of college forever.
You can't imagine still being there, but look at him right now. He's killing it. And that's the thing with Olin. So for more context about his running, Olin, extremely talented as a high schooler, second at both Foot Locker and XN, the double back-to-back. You don't see that too often. And then Olin came to Wisconsin, obviously extremely talented, but definitely had a few years of injury.
Yep.
And it's obviously not easy to go through that. And, that's why when you look at him running as a 7th year, it is actually pretty amazing to see as his friend and a previous teammate, because this year Olin is really getting it together. Essentially you've just been able to be healthy for
2 years now, yeah.
2 years, and the results are showing. Last week you ran, was it 13:19 for the 5K at Oregon, and you absolutely crushed the field. I don't know, I think you're in low 13 teen shape at least.
I'd like to think I'm a 13-12.49 shape, but we'll see.
That's a nice number, but yeah,
Okay,
so
number.
Olin is just crushing it, and he's running amazing, and it is very nice to see that as his friend and teammate. So yeah, good job, Olin.
Appreciate
But
that.
the first thing that we wanted to talk about today is the Oregon Relays, because
We're at Penn, but we're going to talk about the Oregon Relays.
yeah, it was
Feel like
just
the must.
it was just such a big story in the running world for a variety of reasons. Obviously, the Oregon boys went after the 4x-mile world record, world best. It's kind of annoying, this whole world record versus world best thing. I think we just say world record and we just say screw it.
I don't know what the world best thing is about, because if you have a record and it's the best in the world,
Yeah.
Wait,
regardless of nation.
do you guys know the difference?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't know why we
I
need
don't.
that.
It's just
What is the
semantics.
Oh.
it's just a bit
I
annoying.
thought you were calling us
No,
idiots.
no, I
but
don't know the difference.
No. Wait. Honestly, I just find it a bit annoying because like, it's a record.
So the difference for Olin, for a relay record to count as a world record, they all have to be from the same country.
Okay.
And it's a best if they're not from the same country. And then there's also another layer to it where it has to be a certain official event for it to be a record and not a best. Because, for example, I don't think there's like a 20K world record. I think there's a 20K world best. I might be making that one up, but the first part about them having to be
part's
from the same country is definitely
It
true.
could be completely false, but we're pretty sure about
But
that.
it's one of those things where, we're out here to change the sport. Can we just get rid of the term world best and just call, if it's the fastest four-person relay that's ever been run together, that's a world record. Just because they're not from the same country, who cares?
I think it's more impressive, like to have all these different countries, like nations, under one relay running. I think it's sick. So world record sounds better.
I remember they were making a big deal about that a few years ago with USC's indoor 4x4 team, and they thought they had broken the world record, and then later they'd been told that it actually hadn't counted or
Because
something.
it definitely comes from kind of outdated way of the sport in a way, because it's at one point there was these country teams going together, but now if you think about what we feel like we represent, USC running with their USC teammates, that's the most amazing thing for them.
Yeah.
For us running with our own teammates, that's the most amazing thing for us. Like, we want to run world records with the people that we train with every single day. So it's just the way it should be. So if Seb Coe is listening, just a little.
I mean, he's definitely listening. He listens to the pod every week.
As an avid listener
He's an
that we
avid
know he is.
Just a little shout out. Just
Little shout out.
let's get in the
Can
rule
we
book.
change it?
Let's cross out, get the pencil, get the pen out. Actually,
Get it changed?
Write that in the rule book. But yeah, so the Oregon boys narrowly missed the record. I can't remember what time they ran.
Okay, 3
exactly.
seconds isn't narrowly.
They ran
52.
No, I mean they ran 52, but I think the record's 49.9.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2
Also, I
seconds.
might have made that up. I think it was the second fastest time ever.
Yeah,
it was
all
the
time.
second fastest.
Second
There's
fastest
only
all
3
time.
times ever to break 16 minutes, I think.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
That
And
is
a
pretty
New Zealand
crazy.
team.
Yeah, the New Zealand team had
Yeah.
the world record before the
We
Irish
missed the
team.
Quacks.
Was that with Quaxi or?
I honestly have no clue. I
We
think
should-
that was
we should research that.
1983, and then
Throwback.
the Irish
That sounds
bros
right.
broke it in 85,
Yeah.
and it still stands.
As
to
you
this
can tell,
day.
we did our research on this quite a bit, and we know the facts. But yeah, so it's the third time to go under 16. You said,
Yeah.
and then second all time. Pretty impressive.
Pretty amazing.
We can go through the legs a bit. We had a fellow member of that relay, Matt Windsor, running 359. Pretty good start. I thought.
Matt Wisner is technically Coffee Club Track Club. 'cause
Yeah,
he was on
so
our
he kind
show.
of it simulates, like he comes with us, right? Like he's kind of that's our
You're going to claim
contribution
him? Just go
to-
ahead and...
We claim
Anyone who's
everyone.
ever been on
is an honorary member. So you are now an honorary member of Coffee Club TC. So
Is there anything to sign or...
we'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
contract negotiations.
Yeah,
are,
we got to take time to go
Iron
into
that out
that.
later, got it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to spend too much time on the legs. Pretty much, Matt ran 3:59. I want to say.
Which I thought was pretty awesome.
James West was at 4:01 or 4:03.
401 high, and then
Cole
Cole
Hawker
Hawker 357.
3:57, and then Cooper ran 3:53 solo, which is pretty ridiculous.
It's probably the most impressive
bloody impressive.
leg I've ever seen. on
Really? It's a big call.
No, it is, dude. It is. I was thinking about it the other day. I think it's the most impressive leg I've seen in a distance medley relay.
All right, well, that's going to make
Did you
Cooper
even
very
watch
happy.
it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Yeah. Of course I watch it, dude. The amount of shit I talked about that relay. Of course I'm gonna watch it.
It was on Runner Space or some random thing.
Yeah,
Like,
my
I
mum has
didn't-
a runner space account. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway, so they narrowly missed it. But I wanted to more talk about all the stuff surrounding it rather than.
Oh,
trying to, like,
so
break
the
it
media.
down.
We're talking about the media.
Yeah, because there was a lot of. So we talking about this. Olin, I'm sure. Have you ever seen the? Well, we already said in this show, but good for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't come up with that, but we definitely
made it popular.
Popularized it, and so now a lot of the people out on the internet are throwing out good for the sport, not good for the sport, bad for the sport.
Just willy-nilly. Just
All the time.
Just throwing this out.
So it's like
reckless.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we feel like, because we can't tell if it's associated with us now or if it's not, because it was kind of crazy. We didn't really expect it, but Cooper rather, and some of the other people involved in the Oregon team got definitely a bit annoyed because they were copying some shit for the not coming to race here, and we felt kind of bad about that because as we tried to make this clear last time, it's nothing personal against the athletes. We're very understanding of the decisions they made, like why they were doing that record, like the attempt there and all that. Like it made sense. It was more.
I mean, I said I loved them like 3 times when I was trying to explain my rant.
Here's what I have to say about it. Oregon is a closer flight for you guys than here, and it was perfect weather there, and it's windy as hell here.
We're getting called out
there. Olin, that's not the point.
Stop.
That's not the point,
Right.
Olin.
Okay, I love how Ollie tries to justify talking shit by saying that he loves the person.
Okay.
Right before.
I love him. He's my brother.
You obviously didn't listen to my rant because I was not having a go at the boys. I said I loved them. I was having a go at that Twitter.
Yeah.
That Twitter remark is the thing that set it off.
You're
and then I
absolutely
think the guy, and you actually showed me this post, and I'm very grateful for you for sending it to me. The guy that runs that Twitter posted on Instagram about the whole situation, and I thought he had it was a good response.
It was not bad.
I still disagree with it.
It was missing the mark.
It was missing the mark on what we were talking about, but it was a good response to what was going on. And I think, we kind of felt I don't know, we didn't want to cause that much drama. I don't think.
No,
on the athletes. We're more about the system of we want to race.
The thing is, you kind of want to assign blame for stuff, and you don't want to assign it to the athletes, especially we don't want to make them feel stressed before a race.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's really easy to assign blame to companies and the people in power because they're kind of faceless entities. And I think that's where it ends up going at the end of the day, but it doesn't feel as fun as blaming an individual person, I want to say, in a weird way, because you're not going to get anything back from it.
No response.
But definitely the Oregon Twitter social media guy, I think his name is something Parker, he took it pretty personally.
Yeah.
And then he had this essay Instagram caption response. And what he said was very valid. You should go read it. His first line of it, though, was, does this look like bad for the sport to you? And so I want to put out a challenge to all our listeners. I think that's a really good potential meme format.
Oh, 100%.
You just put up a random picture of something to do with track and field. Does this look like bad for the sport to you? Because I just found that hilarious. Not to make a joke out of the situation. Actually, I am making a joke.
You are making a joke of the situation, but it is a good point.
Yeah.
I think reading that essay, it was nice to read about looking after the athlete in the sense of what we're trying to do, because the athlete is a pivotal part of the sport.
Yeah.
And the media is always going to target the athlete with what's going on, results, not doing things. And I just think, the only thing we had against it was it wasn't hitting our point, I think, of what we were talking about.
Yeah, as some kind of summary is that obviously that event was going to be a success and was going to be cool. You've got 4 guys that train together, live in Eugene, going to their home track in front of their friends, lining the track. Obviously that's going to be cool, and we were never saying that in itself was going to be bad for the sport. It was the fact that about 3 days beforehand on Twitter, the guys talking about how
they put out the challenge.
Yeah, put out the challenge to pro teams, and for some reason they hadn't had any responses. That's what we're making fun of. Not obviously the event was sweet.
Yeah. What the main thing that he said in his Instagram caption was that it shouldn't fall on the athletes to do this media and promotional work for the sport, which is a really good point. Obviously we're here doing this podcast, so we're still trying to do what we can for the sport. But I 100% agree with him. When you compare it to other sports, they got these full media teams taking care of this stuff. It shouldn't be on us.
Maybe
to
it
make
shouldn't
this good.
fall on us, but when the opportunity's there, and Cooper and Cole do really well themselves in promoting themselves in the sport.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean the athletes can't do that, but it shouldn't be forced
100%,
on them.
100%. And the thing with there's a bit of disconnect there, I felt. I think sometimes you want to get the athletes involved if they want to be involved, and then give them that kind of, particularly with the Twitter, I feel like that was a bit of a disconnect there.
They definitely were. I was pretending he'd never heard of the Penn Relays.
Because I know for a fact that Cooper and Cole and Matt and James West would have known about Penn. They would have known about us trying to get teams there. So I think that disconnect is probably an issue that led to a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't think any of them would have tweeted that. I think it was the Oregon Track and Field page that would tweet that because it's the Oregon Track and Field page. But another thing that it did make me think of we talk about beefs or whatever you want to call it in the sport. Isn't it annoying? Because this actually would have been a really good chance to make a beef, but then we keep being pussies about it and just saying, oh, we really love them.
We keep falling back in the cycle of track and field
Yeah,
because
Ollie,
everyone here is too fucking nice.
I thought, Ollie, this was going to be a real beef started here.
Well, I mean, to be honest, watching the relay and stuff, besides Cooper's leg, it's pretty unimpressed about their attempt.
So you're trying to start a beef with one of the other athletes?
No, I'm just saying that like they had all this hype and this talk, and it seemed like people thought they were going to walk it in, and they didn't. It's pretty freaking hard to run that time, and I think, I don't know, it just wasn't. Cooper's leg was very impressive, but I know Cole's a better athlete than 357. I know James West's a better athlete than 401 high. Are you going for a world best attempt? It just seemed a bit.
You definitely learn watching that it looks
hard.
a lot easier. It looks a lot easier on paper
Yeah.
than it is when you're actually out there. It's only the record is you average 357.5 and it's in the bag, and that sounds doable. But then actually going out there and doing it.
Well, I think too the team that got the record, their PR average was like 350, 351. Like I think they had all run about that.
Yeah.
And so for them to all then go run 357, it's like, yeah, you need a little bit of a cushion to.
That certainly tells you something about it. I think the reality of running 357 in a nice paced race compared to 357 solo is very different. But
with a baton and on
yeah,
your own.
Yeah, the changeover, like you could
Yeah.
scrub the changeover, it's a couple seconds. You know?
yeah.
Have you been practicing your changeovers?
In the mirror, yeah. I gotta make sure I look good when I do that changeover, you know?
I don't know what that means.
You guys don't have to worry about that. You guys don't have to worry about that, but I do, so.
Most of Ollie's pre-race preparation takes place in front of the mirror.
In front of the mirror.
So,
You heard it here first, guys.
Yeah. So actually, though, this is a nice segue into now what we're doing here at Penn. We posted about it on our Instagram. So obviously, everyone knows that the OAC is having a team going for this 4x-mile world record, and we've been wanting to go for it for a long time. The realities of, we're a small team. The realities of getting 4 guys that are healthy on the line together was always going to be a challenge. And unfortunately, George and I are both not racing now. And the team is going to be Ollie, Joe, and then we're bringing in Tom Elmer from OAC Europe and Ben Flanagan, member of Coffee Club Track Club.
Very nice
track club, but sponsored by On. He's Canadian. He's coming in as well. So it's still an On team. Obviously, we would have loved for it to be just all the OAC people, but it didn't happen like that. I think, just so everyone knows what's going on with us, for me personally, I think if you'd been listening to the show, I don't know if I actually said it, but I think people knew I wasn't going to race for a long time.
I mean, I think when I had my interview with FlowTrack, they knew you weren't going to race, and they were saying who's going to fill that spot. So I think people are pretty aware because we're pretty open about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think if I was coming back from injury pretty nicely, and I think I would have maybe raced if things had gone perfect there, but then I got hit by COVID pretty hard a month ago, and I'm still dealing with it a bit now. So there was just, once that happened, it was like, okay, unfortunately not going to be able to race. George is a little bit different. Do you want to go through what you're dealing with right now, George?
Yeah, nothing too seriously. Don't want anyone to worry. But just
I wasn't worried.
You went.
I am a little
I'm worried.
but not anymore.
I'm not worried.
Last week, 10 days ago, just started to get a bit of tightness in the front of my hip, and not sure if maybe I ran through it for a couple more days than I should have, but ended up straining my hip flexor. Actually, my sartorius, I think it's called, muscle kind of hip flexor on the inside of the thigh, and it's pretty minor. I got an ultrasound on it just to confirm whether or not racing was going to be a good idea or not. But doctor's orders are something along the lines of not sprinting for 1 or 2 weeks. So I'm already back easy running, and I can jog pretty comfortably, but getting down to mile, race pace with a hip flexor strain is probably just not the best idea. A few weeks out from from Diamond Leagues and some big races.
Some
at
big
the end
dogs,
of the
some big
month.
dogs, some heavy hitters.
Some heavy hitters. You're right.
Heavy hitters out there. And me and Morgan have been lubing it up. We've been rubbing it down, but we just couldn't. We really couldn't.
Did everything we could.
Yeah, we just really couldn't.
Trust me, we tried everything.
We were praying for a miracle, but yeah, we're glad to hear it wasn't too serious, and George is able to run a little bit, and he'll be ready for those big heavy hitter races. But unfortunately, the lubing up and the massaging, Morgan and I just couldn't muster it. But we're glad it wasn't too serious.
Yeah, he'll be back in no time. But
Don't you worry.
so obviously we have a different team now, but still, so it's gonna be more difficult.
Yeah,
for us to get the time.
100%.
In saying that, I don't know if I'm a huge loss. If anyone's watched me race, Textbook George does not include running
Okay, well,
from
so
the front.
I was thinking
for a
about
mile.
if you were on it, what leg? You have to put you on the first leg because as long as the first leg goes fast, you'll be a bit back and then you'll kick them down. You'll run what you need to run.
True.
But if you put the you're on your own, I don't know what you're gonna do.
If I'm out front, I'm probably running 4:05 anyway. So I honestly don't think I'm a big loss to the team.
Oh,
So
you are, George. Don't
You
say
are.
that. Don't say that.
I'm confident in my replacement of young Flanagan.
Yeah.
He's probably a solid pick.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what the order is going to be right now. On paper, they said that it was going to be Flanagan, Klecker, Tom Elner, and then Ollie. It might change. I think potentially the switch would be Joe Klecker and Tom Elmer. But either way, we should just do a little rundown of what form we think everyone's in. Ben Flanagan coming off 3:44 or 45.
45, I think.
He outkicked Cobb Salad
yeah.
Kessler, bro.
Got the dub over Cobb Salad.
Actually, it's like a 3:34 if you convert it.
Yeah,
or
if you
3:33.
convert the guy he beat,
By
334.
the translator property, he's in 3:34 shape.
Yeah, and then Tom Elner, we believe his PB is 3:36, 3:37 range, but he did say he is very fit right now, so I'll probably give him 3:34 as well.
You could also take
Just by transfer.
You could also take a couple of seconds off just because he's the most beautiful
Human being we've ever
you've
seen. So 331, we'd say.
Very attractive.
I think that's worth a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
I
surely.
agree. And then Joe Klecker. It's going to be interesting to see what Joe Klecker can do because I think he will do a really good job at going out there and putting in an honest effort like solo.
Yeah, 100%.
And he would be able to run definitely under a 3:55 mile, I would say, in a race
In
setting.
a race. I would say
So it'd be
If he's on
just-
fire, maybe a little quicker, honestly. If he's
Yeah.
on fire,
Is
but
this
yeah,
with or
55.
without an altitude conversion?
It's at sea level, man. When Clecker's at sea level, anything's possible.
Dude, he was in the altitude 10 last night.
So does he
ready
get
to
a
go.
conversion then?
I think he does. I think he does.
Yeah, he does.
Got it.
Anything he runs here is converted for sea level.
Okay, that's
And then we have Ollie. And Ollie has been, I don't want to say Ollie's been on one, but he's been telling everyone, you know, I'm ready to go. I'll run whatever I need to run to get this record. But how quick does that really mean?
Ollie, if you get the baton at 12 minutes, can you do it?
Imagine. Okay. Yes. But
Yes.
Imagine. Dude,
That's what I
imagine. Okay, imagine if you ran the world best / world record, whatever the freaking hell you want to call it, and you ran a world record in the mile split.
So Ollie's saying he will potentially run 3:43.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing.
No,
You
I mean,
heard
like-
it here first, folks.
Obviously, people know that I talk a lot of smack, and they should hold me accountable on my leg tomorrow. But I think I'm in really good shape. I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been this time of year. So I'm really excited, and I'm going to try and put in the best effort I can for the team. Whether that's a 355 or 352 or 350 or 348, whatever it is, I'm going to try and do the best I can for it. And you'll see me putting words into context tomorrow.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be doing the maths while you're running? Remember
No.
we had that chat about his splits when he's got a pacer.
Yeah,
whether
well,
he's
it's
doing
going to be
it?
hard because
Will
the
you
clock's
know?
going to look weird anyway, and I'm not great at math anyway. So
He's just going to go all out.
I'm probably just going to run through, and Ritz is going to tell me you're on it, you're off it, keep going, you're an idiot, slow down. We'll figure it out. But I'm excited and confident that I can hopefully pull out a good last leg for the boys.
Yeah, so that's the team. The competition, we know of two other major teams, Team Ireland, who have a couple of really good athletes, and then also Empire Track Club. Is that what they're called? Empire Track Club?
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think they call it Empire.
They obviously have a bunch of amazing athletes as well, so that's going to be the competition. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. The other factor to probably mention is the wind. I'm not sure if it's picked up on the mics, but I'm sure if you're watching the video, you can tell it's pretty windy in here. And based on our previous experiences at Penn, it's not known for the best weather. We'll get into it in a bit, but I guess we may as well just get into it now.
Well, I just want to say, I'm stoked that there is an Irish team in the race.
Yeah.
Like, basically defending their world record, as they should. Like and they have at least two 353 milers in the team.
Yeah, they kind of slept on a bit.
Koskarin and McCann, I think their names are. They both ran 353 at Staten Island. I don't know who the other guys are.
Yeah, it's just weird that we don't know who they are.
Yeah, but they're coming to defend their world record, and that's pretty sweet.
What do you think if they thought the world record was going to get broken, so then they like pushed over one of us or something? Are you allowed to defend the world record like that?
I mean, you would be able to defend it. You get DQ, but you'd be able to defend it.
It
would work.
Yeah.
Probably not good for the sport though.
Hashtag.
Actually, no.
not
I think it would be good for the sport. Get more people involved.
Yeah, people would
Screaming
definitely
at it.
talk about that one.
More media.
Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be an exciting race. We'll be out here. George and I will be cheering on with all our might. It'll be weird because it's not a lot of teams, I don't think. Obviously, it would have been amazing to have the Oregon guys here, have it being a really good race. But yeah, looking back through the history books, I think that is the reality of these 4x-mile records, and why it is so hard is it is always going to be a solo effort. So just the reality.
What is the way to make a 4x-mile happen every year where you actually can get all the best teams trying to run?
Just force people to run it?
Put in your contracts.
Yeah.
Make it contract obligation. Honestly, I think I spoke about this on a few runs, and people can disagree with me or whatever. I think it needs to be a completely separate, just one time, like one meet, whether it's Penn or a meet that's just not sponsored by any other shoe brand, just like a big meet that you could put all these athletes in, because you can imagine the fan engagement if you had 4 of the best distance runners for like a big pro team at a meet. It'd be incredible, like the fan engagement. Everyone would have all their teams and the rivalries would be there. Just the way to get people there, I don't know if it's financial or if it's got to be some sort of heritage like Penn has. I don't know,
the crazy thing with this is what you just said, is this meet has both those things.
It does, but it has a sponsor that people don't want to maybe support.
No, I don't think that's it.
Toyota?
What do you got against Toyota?
Yeah.
I don't drive a Toyota. You know I don't drive a Toyota.
No, it's funny you say that because I think Penn Relays does have the heritage of Penn. I think you can tick that box.
But in college and high school, not in professional running.
And then
you know, we're talking professional.
Well,
running
it used to have the world. It used to bring in countries, and it would be like USA versus the world. It does have some pretty cool stuff.
Why doesn't it do that anymore?
Good question.
Usain Bolt ran a few years ago.
Imagine that. Like the stadiums are packed. Like why don't they do that anymore?
But then on the other side, it does also have the financial side, because something we haven't talked about is there is actually a lot of prize money in this race tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's $15K for whatever team that wins. So people throw money like that into a race, and I think you expect, everyone's going to come do it. But to me, this time of year, like the timing of this race, unfortunately, for pros specifically, it's hard because they don't want to run a 4x-mile. They want to either get the USA times, the world times, or just get ready for USAs or whatever it is. I think if this meet existed post-world champs, I think it would be a different reception. But I do agree with you that if there was a way to force all the best teams to come compete here.
Well, that's the problem, though. Like, if you pushed it back after Worlds, how would that affect the high school and the college racing?
Well, we don't really care about that in the context of this discussion.
Well, I'm just thinking of, like,
you
that's
were the one
problem.
saying it. You wanted it to be separate.
No, it is, but it's also that's a problem there as well, right? Because Penn is all about the high school and college as well as trying to put pros in it. So
we're just talking about
a situation.
We're talking about a hypothetical pro relay meet.
We're calling it Coffee Club Relays.
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna sponsor it. We're gonna create it.
We
have no
affiliation. You get a high five from
Put a
Gus.
quick trademark on that.
That's the prize. If you win the relay, you get a high five from Gus.
Yeah. So
you should just get Gus.
You just get Gus for a week. Yeah.
Dude, I think a lot of teams would race for that prize. That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be pretty cool. But we should also, Olin, what the heck are you racing this week?
I'm racing the DMR and the 4x-mile.
Double bubble.
Which is, Olin and I did that in 2019. It is
last time.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. So the three of us Wisconsin boys, unfortunately NAU didn't make it out here.
NAU had some Mike Smith training to do,
but it was the last time that Penn Relays was held. It's the 125th anniversary, and today is the 126th time that's been held. So we were here the last time it was held, and it was freaking sweet. With just what the Wisconsin boys are racing this week, you guys are gonna have some tough competition, huh?
Yeah. I mean, in the DMR, I think Ole Miss is gonna be really good. There's a lot of teams I can't think of them, honestly.
Just a bunch
of good teams. I swear I looked at it.
Yeah.
Is Indiana in it?
Indiana is in it.
I saw Indiana.
I'm getting them confused. Indiana's either in the. They might be in both. I feel like I'm getting what teams are in which.
Because there's two of them, and they could be like,
And then all the East Coast schools are always here because this is like their nationals. For anyone,
I think Georgetown,
Villanova, yeah, it's kind of crazy how big of a deal this meet is for the East Coast. It's just like their biggest thing of the year, which is kind of cool. It's fun, but yeah, we should visit memory lane a little bit and take us back to 2019, which was. Dude, that was a good time. That was my last year of college.
It was our first time going to Penn in 103 years for Wisconsin.
We had been asking Mick Byrne, our coach at Wisconsin, to take us to Penn the whole time, and he kept taking us to Drake or like other stuff.
Arkansas Relays.
And we're just like, what are we doing, Mick? We want to go to Penn. And then finally, the stars aligned, and we had a couple of really good teams, and we got to come here. Olin and I did both the DMR 4x-mile double, which Olin is doing this weekend, and man, it was a lot of fun. It was craziness. Let's just go through it because the Friday was the DMR and then Saturday is the 4x-mile. Ollie and I Ollie did the 1600 of the DMR. I did the 1200, and that was a crazy day because. So it is a ridiculous meet because of all the high school and college events. There's a billion people here racing. It's just chaos. And then on that day as well, it was a storm. So there was already delays earlier in the day. Like we knew that it was running an hour behind or something, and we get here, we warm up, we do all of that, and then we're in I think it's called the bullpen. Is that what it's called? There's a section which is right before you go on the track, which is just like the most highest stress, tension, but like excitement, like in a really good way. We're gonna call it the bullpen. I don't know if that's actually
that's a cool name. I like it.
It sounds good. That's the bullpen. Sounds pretty dope. And then lightning strikes, and we have to
lightning strikes the bullpen.
Literal lightning. So they had to suspend the meet, and we had to go under the stadium and just sit there. So picture this. We're about to go and race against all these people, and then 2 minutes later, we're just sitting down next to them, just chilling. We have no idea how long it's going to take before we can get out, and we're just twiddling our thumbs.
We're vibing. Mick kept trying to feed me muesli bars. I'm like, mate, I'm racing in 2 hours, and you're stuffing my face full of muesli bars. He said, oh, you look hungry, and he give out food and stuff. I was like, dude, we're about to race like at any moment, because we didn't know, because like we're trying to wait for the storm to pass.
Yeah, it was really fun because I think for us Wisconsin boys, and Relays are always like this, there's less stress with them because it's a team event.
It's definitely more fun, like the vibe you get from it.
Yeah, it's just a good time. And so we were just chilling out, just taking it all in. And then we're under there for, 90 minutes, 2 hours. And then they're like, all right, guys, we got the all clear. You guys are going to be racing in 10 minutes. So
it was pretty crazy. And like, I guess that vibe you get with like your team just running in Relays, I'm sure that's what you feel every day at NAU, with the team, like the culture, and you get that every day. So you don't need to go Penn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that, NAU. You guys have really good team
that
vibes.
I don't know why we don't come to this.
I don't know.
That would be so good right now. In the
I was going to say, NAU would be pretty lethal.
They said 4 guys run 36, 37, 37, 39.
That's pretty dirty. But
that's some heavy hitter shit.
That is really
they got triple threshold to run this weekend instead.
Triple threshold.
Getting ready for a big race next week.
When are they moving up to quadruple threshold? When's that happening? Can Mike let us know, or is he going to give us some sort of like elusive little quote that we'll know that they're up to quadruple?
When they all start breaking 13 minutes in the 5K, you'll know.
Yeah,
that
that's when I'll know. That's when
quadruple threshold.
Ah, Mike, you done it again, buddy. You done it again. How did you do it?
But yeah, so we get out, we do a couple of strides, like a little bit of jogging drills, but honestly, with the excitement, you're ready to go. I don't feel like I needed to warm up much more. I was running the 1200. I remember this distinctly because I had no plan going into the race, and I got out slow the first 400, and I was far back, and then on the backstretch, so 500 meters in, I made a move to try position better, so trying to go pretty much all the way from the back to the front. But once I started making the move, I was like, I don't want to slow down and like sit in. I want to just keep increasing the pace because it had gone out at a conservative pace, and so I was kind of like sprinting. And
I remember this. I was like, what the hell is he doing? I was kind of
sprinting, and I kind of dropped everyone. And then I was like, shit, I didn't mean to do that. And then there's like 600 meters left, and I'm just like all out for the rest of the 600 meters. And I was dying really hard in the last lap. I think I still handed it off in front, but it was like, I was like, I'm not a 1200 meter runner. Like, this was terrible. This was a terrible experience. But that was a very exciting race because that was stacked. Notre Dame was in there, And so we got the heralded Ollie Hoare versus Jared Nagoose matchup in the end. And I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I do remember that Ollie won.
Well, I do remember that I got outleaned in pretty much every DMR race at Notre Dame by Jared. And I had some angst, I had some fuel, I had some self-hatred there, just piling up. And it was piling up for 2 hours. So if you're slow cooking that, in the pressure pod of under the stadium, it's going to deliver some good tasting juices of just complete carnage. And I went after it, and it was pretty sick because I think the last it was kind of conservative too because I took the lead and then we slowed down, and then about 400 meters to go I just started to wind it up, and I think I just got a bit of a start on Jared, and I just held it, and I was able to come through and deliver us the dub. Morgan picked me up. I remember crossing the line, and all of a sudden I was off the ground.
That was a lot of excitement.
A lot of excitement, and that was like our first experience at Penn, and it was pretty crazy. Like, I was like, this is what we've been missing our entire college career, was just doing something like this because it was just a great vibe.
Yeah, you can go on Instagram and see the pictures of it, but we had Corbin Ellis
and Eric
Brown with us, two of our Wisconsin teammates, and we were just all so hyped. We went and picked Ollie up. We were just cheering, just having a great time. And yeah, Penn is a meet that has a crowd that is, it's really big when on like the Friday, the Saturday, and they're very into it. Like, they're very vocal. So they were just absolutely loving it. So it was.
They went after it, yeah.
It was so fun. And then we got the wheel, did all that cool stuff. And yeah, I don't really remember what else happened, but that was freaking sweet. And then, so we were feeling pretty good, I think, going into the 4x-mile the next day. I think it was similarly stacked in terms of the teams that were competing in it. We had, I can't remember who it was, but did you go first leg in that one?
I went third leg.
I was first leg.
So,
yeah.
How'd it go for you, Olin?
Well,
I don't even remember.
It was like insanely windy, and I was just coming off something of an injury, so like I had no idea where I was, and I just basically knew with Ollie and Morgan on the last 2 legs, I just had to keep it close. Our other teammate Zach Benning, steeplechase specialist and mullet specialist, we just had to give it to them where they could bring it home.
Wait, you want to know something that Zach Benning told me just recently, 3 years later?
What?
He told me what Mick said to you two before the race.
What did he say? I don't remember.
He told me that you guys did a stride, and then he came up to you two and was like, all right, you guys got the best 2 milers in the country running your 3rd and 4th, so just don't fuck it up.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That's hilarious.
But
and I think then Benning and I, we both went out and ran 4:11, but we didn't fuck it up.
So when Ollie got the baton, you were back a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know how far,
bit, yeah.
but it was a decent amount, and like again, running on angst, was able to get up to the Indiana guy because I wanted to make sure that Veach at this point, Veach and Morgan, it was going to be a pretty good battle if it was close and like a bit tactical because the wind was just putting all times out the door.
Do you remember what you split?
I thought it was 403, but
for some reason I thought it was like 406 or 407, but I might be wrong on that. Okay.
I think I ran 403, but I'm not sure.
Well, the thing is, so we ran 16:39. So unless your leg was really, really slow.
My leg was slow.
It was the last 100. Well, you can go through it, but like, my whole goal was just to get close to the Indiana guy. I got to him, and I think I did the dumbest thing possible in a relay. I went past him just at the front, and Morgan's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing? I want to be off Veach, not in front of him. And I gave him the baton like a little bit ahead of Veach, and Morgan knew exactly what to do, which you can
I don't know. You say that, but I had no fucking idea what I was doing in reality.
You looked like you knew what you were doing.
I just went out at a medium pace, I think, definitely not quick. And Veach did go around me at some point, and then it was one of those races where you think it's going to go at 400 to go, but it doesn't, and then you think it's going to go at 300 to go, and it still doesn't. And so we're still jogging, and then with 200 to go, it started ripping. And there's a good video of it on my Instagram of the last 150 or whatever, and the last 100, it was just complete all-out sprint. Ben Veach is a pretty quick sprinter.
Yeah.
I'm not like the quickest sprinter in the world. I have a good kick, but pure sprint speed is, I'm not like better than other people. So it was a real lean at the line to get the win.
That photo is legendary. Morgan's just like leaning in front like a Naruto character, just going like this, like his face, like that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And then what'd you do with the baton?
Stuck it up my butt.
Yeah. It was a 125th anniversary of Penn. And we saw the baton, and like they're very, very strict about them here.
Yeah, well, as soon as you
Morgan
finish, they take it back.
I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, so as soon as, okay, this was another cool one which you have to see the video of, because once I finished, I kept running for like 50 meters. I pulled a George Beamish, and I kept running. around the bend, and you can see on the video that I grabbed the baton and I put it in the back of my shorts, and I put my singlet over it so that we could steal it.
Yeah, you really think you big-brained it by running away, but then it just put the camera on your back, and it was a perfect view.
Doing it.
It was the perfect angle, but man, that's my favorite souvenir that I ever had, because then after it, took it home, and everyone on the team from both the DMR and the mile signed it, and I have it in my room right now, and it makes me happy.
It's pretty sick baton as
It
well.
made it on the Coffee Club Instagram yesterday, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. It went up on
Now
our
you're
story.
admitting you're.
I mean, it's been 2 years.
Yeah, they couldn't. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be here. I might get arrested.
Well, after this, yeah, I'd be surprised security just comes around and just picks you off.
But yeah, so that was a lot of memory lane walking. It was an amazing trip. Like trips like that are what you really remember in college. I think, going to California and running quick time is obviously, that's amazing as well. Nothing taken away from that, but the amount of the specialness that you get from a relay, the team, all that, and just the history of a meet like this, it was pretty hard to.
Totally.
Best of both worlds, I reckon.
Can relate.
One more memory I have to add to that. On the plane ride home, Morgan and I got bumped up to first class because I had a stomach bug, and I was puking the whole flight home.
It was pretty crazy because, you had just raced not like hours before. Because we went home on the same night, and then you get to the airport and you're just throwing up.
Yeah, I was sick for a week. I don't know what happened. It might have been, I have no idea what it was.
It's kind of crazy you were able to race so well, considering you were...
It might have been food poisoning based on that, because I raced fine. Yeah, I don't
When
know.
did you start feeling it, like right after the race, or?
No, it was like right when we were getting onto the plane.
Yeah.
I remember we were going through security. I had to hold in a puke, and then we got through, and I went through it.
God.
That was insane.
That was hilarious.
I remember that now that you mention it. I remember that.
I remember being in first class with Olin and just like being like, thanks Olin for getting us moved up to first class, but then he's just like throwing up next to me and just feeling super sick. And then also Zach Benning, our mulleted friend,
Mullet enthusiast.
he was just flirting with the hostess the whole time, and she was loving it. She was
really
just
about
absolutely loving it. So he also got moved up to first class.
That's right. I remember I was sitting there.
Yeah, you didn't get to.
I didn't get moved up, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, how the hell did these fuckers get up to first
Man, they
class?
look like they're having a lot of fun up
Yeah,
there.
and then I'm looking over, and Benning and Morgan just looking behind me, putting up the finger, and I'm like, oh, great.
So, yeah, good trip. Hopefully you guys can recreate some of those memories.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, it's gonna be a really freaking good race.
Yeah.
And I think, it's the same thing as then. You don't really have a plan. You can't plan for a relay.
No.
But you just get the baton and you run your ass off and try to win, I guess.
So pure. So pure. So, yeah, anything else that we need to preview for Penn or talk about? I think the boys are ready to go.
Well, we should also give a mention that Old Miss have thrown out the gauntlet for getting that world record, world best.
They have.
In the 4x1.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mario tweeted about it. Which I don't know who's on their team. Mario's obviously
I
extremely
thought
good.
you said they were only doing the DMR. Or maybe
I
they're
must
only
be
doing
wrong.
the 4x mile.
Maybe they're only doing the 4x mile.
Who
It
knows?
was just on Twitter. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'd
I
believe
think
it.
I think Ole Miss will have a really good team. The collegiate record, I believe, is 16:03. Oregon.
Weeding has
Our
that.
own very own
Andrew Weeding. So going for 16:03 would be pretty crazy as well. Yeah, I think one of the morals of this story because you obviously don't spend a lot of the year thinking about the 4x mile, but in this week, past week, we've thought about it a lot. It's just really hard to do. It's really hard to run fast. As Olin mentioned, you look at that Irish team that ran averaging 3:57, and they're all almost 3:50 runners. So yeah, that kind of tells you the story. So
It gives it a good telling.
But
Good
yeah,
telling.
so we've talked about it a lot, and now we gotta walk the walk. Well, George and I don't. It's all on Ollie.
Oh, we get to watch
I get all the walking.
Hey, how many of those I wonder how many of those world record holders will be here? Because Marcus O'Sullivan will definitely be here. Ray Flynn will be here.
That's really
I guess
cool.
not the other, maybe not Eamon Coughlin. I'm guessing he's not.
What's
And-
Eamon Coughlin up to these days?
No, what does he do?
I'm not sure.
Who's the fourth guy?
Not sure.
All right, two of the world record holders will definitely
Well,
be there
Mick
watching.
Burner's here, so he can
He can sub in.
Give me a
He
placeholder
can
for
sub
one of
in.
them.
Honorary Irish.
Yeah. No, the Irish Mafia is alive and well here at Penn Relays.
The Irish Mafia will always be around.
Yeah, that's a little thing for people that don't know. It's in the college scene. So Ireland's they're having a bit of a resurgence now, but back in the 80s, they were crushing. They were so good, in particular at the mile. It's kind of similar to Australia and New Zealand, because 70s, 80s,
Yeah,
we were on top of the world,
definitely.
and then Ireland was there as well. So a lot of good Irish runners came over to the collegiate system in the 80s. Obviously, I think there was like a lot of economic turmoil and stuff in Ireland around that time as well. Great potato famine, etc. And so a lot of them came to the East Coast and they became coaches. So a lot of the East Coast schools have these really old Irish coaches, and we refer to them as the Irish Mafia.
The Irish Mafia.
They just run shit.
They just run the show, man.
Yeah.
You'll see if you go to meets and like conference or anything like that, you'll see them all congregate to the corner, and they're all just talking in Irish, and you can't understand a word they're saying. But like Mick will like walk up and he'll be doing his little strut and go over and
Mick always likes to throw his weight around. He's like, "What? It's me. I can get you into any heat I want to. I know everyone."
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. So yeah, we love our Irish people here.
We do.
There's some good stat about Ireland having, more speculation from Golf Club. If not the most, then very close to the most sub-4 milers per capita. in the
Oh
world.
yeah,
It's
I would.
It's like just above New Zealand, because they both have like 5 million people population,
Yeah.
and New Zealand's got like 42 or 43 sub-4 milers, and Ireland has like over 50, I think. It's like a tiny country.
pretty crazy.
That is a really good competition between those two countries. Because yeah,
How many
great
does Australia
histories.
have?
Well, Australia is like 5 times that size, so I guess that makes it a lot harder.
You'd have to have 5 times as many.
Oh, I know, but I'm trying to think of how many we actually do have.
I think a good amount.
We probably have
still.
100.
I think we have a lot of sub 4s, but
There's
that'd be
at
a good
least
thing to
2
look up.
on this couch.
we have
What do
we
you
have
mean
two.
at least
yeah.
2? Well, I mean, at least, yeah.
Not
wrong.
Broken 4?
Yeah, Australians that have broken 4, so I don't know. That's a good place to start.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. We'll have to go down the history books, get some
Yeah.
history buff on that. But yeah, I think we can kind of transition into talking more about just Olin and Wisconsin.
Oh, my time.
Your time to shine.
Prime time, Olin.
Do you have any good Wisconsin memories, not to put you on the spot, of either Ollie or I that you would like to talk about?
All bad memories.
All
Yeah.
bad. Anything. Any memory that comes to your mind.
Well, I mean, I feel like the first thing that comes to mind is I feel like when after you graduated and my 5th year, Ollie's 4th year, cross country, I feel like that was maybe the peak of your love of B-dubs.
Oh,
And like, I feel like there was a couple times, like every day, every Friday, it was just like, okay, we just finished this workout. Come on, guys, we got to order B-dubs. And yeah, then one time we did it. This isn't really a very good story. It's the first thing I thought of.
No, I think that's a good. That just.
that sums up me in college pretty accurately.
I think the thing with Ollie is, you know, people might think that he's putting on a persona when we joke about how much fast food he eats and how much soft drinks he consumes, but he's just not. And I think if you listen closely, you also will know that Ollie is certainly not stingy with his money.
No, Ollie is like uncomfortably generous.
Uncomfortably generous is a good way to
Ollie's
put it.
generous to the point with me where it's like, I feel
just
like,
owe him so much money. I owe him so
yeah,
much
it's
money.
just like stop. I feel like Joe would do that too, where he'd try to get you so you were owing him money.
This
Yeah.
is Joe Hardy, our other teammate, who was on the pod in episode what?
3 or
3,
something.
yeah, early
Early
one.
on.
But that was the thing. Like, I just enjoyed other people's happiness with certain things. But I always thought that other people's happiness would strain from me buying something that I think would make me happy, not necessarily what would make you happy. But microphone went away. But like B-dubs was one of those things where I would try like buy everyone B-dubs. And I remember
Thinking that they would like
and I
it.
remember like Morgan or Olin, and Olin's like, I'm not gonna eat fucking B-dubs. I'm gonna eat proper food because I have to like work out tomorrow or something. So that's what I remember.
B-dubs is literally just really expensive chicken nuggets.
Oh yeah, premium
It's super
chicken nugs.
expensive.
And come on, man, chicken nugs are
They're
pretty
not
good.
even- What do you mean premium?
Okay, you've never eaten chicken nugs in your life. You haven't even eaten McDonald's chicken nugs.
It's true.
You heard it here
It's true.
first, people. George needs to open up to the chicken nug community. Please spam him on Instagram or Twitter. You don't have Twitter. Spam him with letters. I don't know. Just get into his head about getting into the chicken nugget community. You should do it.
Yeah.
We welcome you with open arms.
It is crazy that George has never eaten a chicken nugget in his life. That's
Never.
kind of unacceptable, especially if you
Unacceptable.
live with Ollie.
Especially if on this couch. Oh, you don't know how many times
Wait,
I've
has
tried.
Olin? Have you had chicken nuggets before? I don't think he has either.
Oh
You've
my
never eaten
god.
chicken nuggets?
No.
Yeah, these guys are kind of similar.
They are similar. The one thing I remember from Olin in college as well is like Olin is probably like there's a lot of amazing cooks in my life. Olin is definitely one of the number ones.
Well, my dad is number one.
and now, okay, your
Yeah.
dad is amazing.
And then my mom
Tim,
as well.
Tim and Carol, shout out Tim and Carol, my favorite parents.
Wisconsin parents.
My mom and dad,
Yeah, wait, your parents
my
listen to
all-time favorite, and then my American favorite parents. Carolyn.
To be fair, I think that your parents are some of my biggest fans.
I know.
Like your
We
dad
need to
always
change him.
says good job when I race well. I appreciate that so much.
I'd heard a lot about Tim Hacker's.
Tim Hacker's cooking
And
is
then-
unbelievable.
Come to Madison sometime. I'll have you over for dinner.
Well, I had the honor of you cooking for me.
I did make you dinner,
before Christmas, and it was outstanding.
Unbelievable. So
I was very impressed.
That's the one thing I remember from college is like Morgan's an amazing cook and Olin would just cook. And I remember when Morgan graduated, Olin would just cook up these feasts, this tomato pie that he used to make because your mom used to grow tomatoes and your dad
still does grow tomatoes.
Still does grow tomatoes. And I was obsessed with that pie. I was like, Olin, can you make that pie again? I was always hassling him about it. But that was one of my fond memories from college with Olin, and obviously training and living together for pretty much my entire college life was living with you and Morgan. So
yeah, I have similarly fond memories of Olin and his family. For those who don't know, Olin's dad is Wisconsin legend Tim Hacker. One individual NCAA cross title, two team titles in cross, and he also had the school 1500 meter record of 3:36. Was it? Or 37?
3:36. Back when nobody ran 3:36.
Yeah, back when that was kind of a big deal. So he is a Wisconsin legend, and Olin is from Madison, went to UW. I always tell people this stat, and I don't know if it's true, but I tell people that out of the 4 schools you went to, so looking at, is it primary school, middle school, high school, college, that 3 out of the 4 of them are on the same street. I don't know if that's true.
it's a pretty good
2 out of 4.
2 out of 4.
Because I count Wisconsin as being on the same street, though. Because
was the same school as my 3 through 5, Randall.
Okay.
And that's like 2 blocks down from the stadium.
Yeah.
Where we
where we lived our whole college
So
career.
it is crazy because, Olin's family home, his childhood home is just up the road. And
it was
so,
1 mile away from the house that we lived in.
Yeah. So his parents would so kindly invite us over, once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks for dinner on like a Sunday. And, oh man, just having people like that in your life in college is just like the coolest thing ever. It was very nice, very welcoming.
So wholesome, man.
We'd go there for Thanksgivings,
Thanksgiving's
having
me.
you guys over Thanksgiving was nice.
Me, Joe, and Morgan, we go to Thanksgiving at the Hackers, and I tell you what, that's how I remember Thanksgiving in America. Just so good, so generous.
Yeah.
It made me we used to eat so much food. Remember we had the plate?
You'd see how much food you could put on your plate.
Like Joe's plate would literally almost cover
and then he'd just come back for more.
Yeah. And then we just lay on the floor and pass out. That was pretty much it.
Dude, that's how you should spend Thanksgiving.
Oh, it was amazing.
Sure.
And then Tim would have the TV in the living room with the Packers playing, and he'd be just cheering them on. Oh, it was great. It was so wholesome.
Yeah.
I miss that. Hopefully we can go back sometime, relive it.
I think that's what I miss really is like when we were living with you guys, I feel like Ollie would just he's just one of those roommates. He's just always on the couch, ready to hang out, playing video games. He's doing something loud. And then a lot of times Morgan he's maybe a little bit more removed, but if you want a quieter setting, maybe I go up, sit in Morgan's room, we'd draw a picture together.
We did take an art class. We did take art class together.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
That is such a good summary.
And it's just and that's you've got little Morgan in his quiet little corner, Ollie downstairs making a ruckus.
Ollie's screaming at the TV.
And then Ollie, anytime Ollie'd be like, "Hey, you want me to make you a latte?" You're like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, not gonna say no to that.
Yeah.
So
It checks out.
yeah, I mean that's kind of still how it is, honestly. I have
still how it
my
is.
little
We
computer
haven't
nook
changed really.
where I like to spend time. The only difference is when Ollie gets addicted to Elden Ring, and then you don't see him for a long period of time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a problem. Yeah.
But-
I remember my girlfriend came over to hang out, and she literally just watched me play Elden Ring for an hour and a half. And I felt super guilty about it. I was like, okay, we can watch a reality TV show or something afterwards. And I
Yeah.
hated it.
Yeah.
And I want to play Elden Ring again, but I couldn't. I had to obviously.
I think
behave
that was my
myself.
favorite, over winter break when you just really sink into a game. There was one year that it was just me and you home over winter break, and you just, I don't remember what you were playing, but it was like the Jedi game or something.
Oh yeah, the
some
Fallen
Star
Order
Wars
game.
thing.
Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order, great game.
You just played it the whole time.
Whole time, beat it. No, I think I beat it in 7 days. And this is an RPG game too.
You can just imagine that, and now he's always on winter break. Because he doesn't
That's
have
how
school.
Yeah,
I literally
so that's
always
just
on winter
how it
break.
is.
Sounds amazing.
That's how it is all the time now.
Dude, being a pro runner is pretty fun, not gonna lie. It's not too bad. But yeah, do we want to ask Olin any real running questions?
I wanted to know, Olin, what's your plan? Obviously, you're here in Penn with the team and gonna go crush and get hopefully some more wheels to turn from a motorbike that we created to a car.
If we get 2 more, we can make a car.
We can make a car.
Is that actually what people talk? Is that,
Yeah, they
that's
call
a thing.
it the bike.
Oh, the bike.
The bike
We
and
got
the
that.
car.
Is there a unicycle?
I
If
guess.
you get one?
I
If
guess.
you get one,
yeah.
unicycle.
Bike.
Bike.
Do you get tricycle?
Tricycle.
Car. And then
Car,
what?
forward.
That's a great question.
Semi-truck.
Has anyone ever won 5? Must have.
I bet.
I'm sure there is a team out there. But
Just a tank or something.
Yeah.
moving on to that, Olin, what's your plans leading up? Obviously, NCAA is outdoors. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really excited for you. But are there any other races that people should watch out for and look forward to seeing you compete in? Because at the moment, every race I watch you do, seems like there's no competition. You're just like literally out there just killing it. And I'd love to see you bumping elbows with some of the best.
Yeah,
in
I mean,
NCAA.
I guess coming up after, like, I think this weekend there will for sure be competition. But then, yeah, after that is Big Tens, and I'm hoping that me, Beatlescombe, and Ben Veach are all in the 5K, and I hope we're all fresh in the 5K because, yeah, I feel like, I mean, they're both 6 years, I'm a 7th year, like, just get the old guys in there, have us battle it out, see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, we've all won a Big Ten title. Now it's time to see who's got the guts for
It's like
it.
the final,
another one.
The final
Yeah,
round.
the
final
final
chapter.
round. And I think with that, it's like, with those two, they're so good. Like, there's no shame in losing to them.
Yeah,
I just want to race them.
Yeah.
See what happens.
that's awesome. That's hashtag good for the sport right
I
there.
think
You
that
heard
would be
that.
cool. Yeah, then regionals. If that goes well, nationals.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm really excited. I just barely got under the U.S. standard, so I'll be able to run at U.S. champs.
Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Which
Because the standard's 13:20 now.
20, yep,
That's
and I ran
unbelievable.
19.3. I was looking at the clock maybe a little bit too much. Like, I was like, okay, I got to run a 60. Okay, I got to run another 60.
That's a tough way to do it.
And I was
Yeah.
really
That's a
looking
tough
at
way
it
to do
on the
it.
home stretch, and I thought I was fine. But, like, the clock really moves fast as you're coming through. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm 18, I'm fine. And I was like, oh, that was close.
Snuck up on me there.
Snuck in there.
I do want to ask you this question. I feel like this is a question that I would like to ask anyone who's as good as you are running in college right now. How does it feel to be a really good collegiate runner when everyone is just so crazy good? Like, because especially for you, because you think about it, I thought it was really good when I was there. And my redshirt freshman year, NCAA's was an all-out race, and it was won in maybe just under 13:20, or maybe 13:20 is low. And that was Ed Cheswick, Sean McGorty, Pat Tiernan, like going at it. And that was all out from the gun. Now it's 10 seconds quicker, at least. At least 10 seconds
it's
quicker.
tough.
Yeah.
Like, this winter, at Indiana, I ran 7:45, like, mostly on my own. And when I ran that, I was, like, so pumped. I was like, I'm into nationals easy.
You're looking at, like,
I was like,
top
this
three.
is, like, one of the best times ever. And then I think at the time it was like top 20 times ever run indoors. And then by the end of the season, I thought I was going to get bumped out of the top 16. I was at Big Tens. I was like, I haven't lost a race this season, but my season's over because I'm getting bumped out of the top 16 because 7:45 is not fast enough.
It's ridiculous.
And, like, so that was, like, a bit daunting then going into nationals. But yeah, then all of a sudden you get into nationals and everybody's just a runner.
Exactly. It
And you
just
just
comes down
race
to
them
racing.
and, like, we ran 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
The same
it's
people
like,
are
okay.
still winning.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone runs faster, but the same people are winning.
And you came 5th or 4th?
Fourth.
4th. And if you watch, this was in the 3K.
Yeah.
If you watched it, Olin had a pretty big close. We think that if he had been a little further up,
Yeah.
I kind of messed up.
could have gone for the
You
dub.
tried to do too much textbook George, and you were too far back. You needed to
Yeah,
be a
no,
bit further up.
I've just been looking at the tape and I'm like, okay, who's running well? George is running well. Let's try to model my race after him. And so I tried to be as far back with 200 to go as I could, and then I just didn't quite have the legs to make it around.
But still a big confidence booster, because then once you've come 4th, you're looking at top 3/winning. So
And
you
I
know
think
you
that was
want.
the thing too. Like, in that race, it was just like, I wanted to win, obviously, but I don't think I really thought I could. And so, yeah, I think if I thought I could, I might have put myself up further up with 200 to go, and then.
This is the thing that I always tell people. I think it's just as easy to run in 2nd place as it is to run in 10th place. You know, maybe easier.
Actually, this is a question I have for you guys. Do you think if you go into a race, like, being like, I'm gonna win this race, you think you're gonna win it then?
Yeah.
Does that make you win?
Yeah.
Yes and no, I think, because there's some races where I don't think about it and I win it and I'm like, okay, that went well, and then there's some races where like, oh, I'm gonna win this, and I don't win it.
I think this is one of the things that makes Ollie as good as he is, apart from his
Being
supernatural
really
physical
fit.
ability and fact that me and Morgan aren't running and Ollie is pretty much sums
B-dubs. It's
pretty
chicken
much
nuggets.
sums up our running. But his ability to go into any race and just think that he can compete with the guys that are winning. Like, I feel like that confidence to just get in a race and be like, I belong here. Like, I can compete with any of these guys.
That's the best advice your dad told me. I remember when I went pro, because your dad went pro and did amazing things, and I thought it'd be great to hear from his aspects, like what would you do differently, and he kind of told me, it's like every race you go into, believe that you can win it. Believe that you can be a part of those top guys, regardless if they're, the Olympic champ or whatever. It's just really about putting yourself in the race, because if you mentally check out, it's really putting yourself at a disadvantage. And that advice held me through that year to get to the Olympics. And when I went back after the Olympics, I thanked Tim for the advice, because like that really helped me.
Well, I think you saw that in your race. Like every race, you were out right on the pacer, and you didn't care about, like you weren't scared of anyone behind
Even
you.
Even the Olympic final, always
Yeah,
in
that's
second
you.
place after 400 meters.
And I think
That was
like,
also not a good idea, though, because I realized that I
It
just
didn't
went
work
out
out.
way
I mean,
too
maybe it
much.
didn't work out that day, but you went into the Olympic final,
Yeah.
and with one lap in, you're in second place.
and yeah, you
Supposed
put
to be.
yourself there.
Like,
And I think that's been the biggest difference. Like, I've been going into races being like, I can win this, why not? But what I'm not sure about is if it's
someone's
like,
got to win it.
if it's that,
Yeah,
someone's
why
got
not
to
me?
win.
Why
But if
not?
it's that attitude that's allowing me to win races, or I just got really fit, started winning races, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I can keep doing it. So
It's
I'm not
a-
really sure which came first.
Yeah, classic chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
I will
Chicken
say,
boy Morgs.
Definitely.
I will say though, from my experiences in regards to your question, I've had pretty direct comparisons when I have raced, say, regionals and nationals, where I approach these two races different mentally, and they feel so different to me. Because at regionals, I'm just thinking about qualifying, so I'm normally thinking about just hanging around the top 5, top 8 or whatever, like hanging in there and then just closing. And those races feel really hard for me when I feel like I'm like fighting for position, and I just feel like I'm expending all this energy and I'm not generally running that quick. But then at nationals, when I get into the headspace for winning a race, I feel like you're so much more focused and you can just take so many more punches. Like, I swear when I run a nationals race and I'm fully dialed in, it doesn't matter what pace they're running, because I know that I'm trying to win that race. It just doesn't even, it's not even like a question. And this is how you see Ollie race all the time, where you just take, the pace doesn't affect you. You don't feel it in the same way because you're just thinking about competing. So I think when you have that headspace, you put yourself up there and you get it done. I think that's how it feels like Uppbeat's been racing as well. When you watch him,
He just goes and wins, yeah.
yeah, he's seems like he's not bothered by anything, because he knows that he's going to be up there at the front and he's going to at some point kick down. And obviously, yeah, you have to be extremely fit to pull that off, but I think the mindset does matter a lot in terms of racing.
You could definitely see that in his mindset, especially from watching him win a 5K in 13:19, like a clear championship record, I think. And then the next day, a tactical 3K. I don't think either one, he knew that he was running fast or slow.
I think,
He was
yeah,
just, either way,
you
he's
saw
just
that
like,
in the
I'm
3K.
gonna fucking win this race.
Yeah,
Like, he just put himself in the front and just was like,
Defend the straights.
beat me.
that's the
Defend the
thing,
straights.
because
that
like
was the other one that Smith
Mike
says.
Smith, yeah.
to
Mike Smith
sleep.
told Abdi Hamid to defend the straights.
Go to sleep and defend the straights.
Yeah.
quote Mike Smith. Because the thing is, if you're in that mindset, if you really believe in yourself and you believe that you're better than everyone, then it doesn't matter what anyone else is running, because you believe that you can do it plus more, unless you're racing Kip 2 and he's going to go out in 157 and he can't do that.
You gotta reel him in a little bit.
But apart from that, yeah, I think if you really believe that you can match everyone else and do better, then it just doesn't matter. And I think it makes it a lot easier to race like that. So, yeah.
All right.
It's a good question, though.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
keep
great
believing in
question, yeah.
myself then. You have inspired me.
The way that you've been racing, if you haven't seen Olin has this big, or at least recently, you have this big, like, final last 5 laps or whatever of a 5K. I feel like you're able to, like, really just start dialing it down, and it is so impressive to see, because not many people can do that. So I feel like you have been
Love a
racing
good
like
wind
that.
up.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see you race for the rest of the year. So I'm very excited, and we should get our Coffee Club listeners to tune in to watch Olin race, because I think there's going to be some cool races coming up.
I'm pretty happy that the Coffee Club, Track Club, has infiltrated the collegiate scene.
Yeah.
Have we? I guess, no, we haven't had any other collegiate runners on, have we?
I don't think so. I think you're our first one.
Really?
Wow.
Is this legal? Am I gonna get? Am I getting DQ'd?
Just don't
Am
tell
I
him about
ineligible?
don't tell him about the 20K we gave you to.
I actually told
appearance
Mick
fee.
that I told Mick that I was gonna do this, and he's like, "Is that allowed?" I don't think you can. And I was like, "I'm just talking to them."
Mick, that's your job to know that, not mine. But I think everything's legal now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's no rules in the NCAA anymore.
No rules.
It seems like the NIL, instead of just this like big list of what you can and can't do, now it just seems like anything's
Yeah,
fair
you're
game.
fine.
We'll find a way to make it happen.
Yeah, it just removed all the rules.
Yeah. But is there any final questions that we have for Olin?
Just good luck, man. I'm
Yeah.
excited for you.
Good luck to you too, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's it for today. I want to say thank you for Olin for coming on. Thank you very much again to the Penn Relays and On for bringing us here and letting us do this. I hope it turns out good.
Yeah, me too. I think if you definitely watch it on YouTube, it's a pretty cool site. And yeah, it's pretty awesome to be here.
Yeah, I hope that people can hear what's happening. I don't know if they'll be able to pick up, but
It did just get really loud.
the stadium is going freaking crazy right now. I think
Yeah,
it's
something's going on right now.
Oh! Outleaned.
so.
Close finish.
Okay.
That's
And
the Penn Relays.
that's
that's Penn
coming
Relays.
out right before 4 by mile world record attempt.
World record.
Go watch that.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. That's episode 32. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.